What is going on, good people of YouTube? It is me, Chavez, back with another Prize Picks video for you. Today's Thursday, March 30th, 2023. We got two games going on in the NBA. As always, I hope this video finds you all doing well and in good spirits. We're going to kick things off with a quick recap over yesterday's plays. We'll update ourselves on some injury news in the NBA, and then we'll talk about a few player props that I like that are already on the board. So if you're cool with that and that sounds good to you, stick around, drop a like, drop a sub, click the notification icon to be notified of all upcoming content from me and my channel. And without further delay, let's jump into those plays from yesterday. 1-1 on the day. We had Zach Collins fall short of his 24.5 points and rebounds, and then we had Carl Anthony Towns hit his 2.5 turnover prop. Finished the game with 6, so little insurance there. 1-1 with our two plays from our early look and research video. Now, in terms of our 6-pick flex, man, it was a rough night. 2 out of the 6 picks hit, but the other 4 obviously fell short. We had DeMar DeRozan fall short of his assist prop. We had Grayson Allen fall short of his 7.5 first half points, rebounds, and assists. Barely even saw the ball. I think he only shot the ball twice in the first half. I mean, if you kept up with the scores yesterday, you already know that game was dominated by Giannis and Drew Holiday. So Grayson Allen took a deep, way back seat to those guys yesterday. We had Jimmy Butler fall short on his points, finished the game with 12. We needed 24 from him, so he didn't even come close. Not the best 6-pick flex, but we move on to a new day. A very short slate to talk about today. However, before we jump into those player props, let's quickly update ourselves on some injury news. Injury news on the day: Nikola Jokic is questionable. We got Rob Williams, Peyton Pritchard, and Grant Williams questionable as well. So three Celtics and a Nugget walk into a bar, and they're all hurt. So Nikola Jokic obviously is the big name on this list. Keep your eye out for possible injury news coming out of the Milwaukee Bucks and Celtics game. I think it's possible that we see somebody on the Bucks side sit, maybe Giannis. And if he does happen to sit, then fully expect all these Bucks props to be bumped up. So with that being said, let us jump into some player props. Now, I don't really feel the need to force anything today. It's a 2-game slate, so I say play lightly, be cautious of this short slate. 13 games are on the slate for tomorrow, along with Flex Friday promo from Prizepicks. So that's a much bigger slate to play versus this little bitty one today. So Al Horford, Marcus Smart are two Celtics players that I'm interested in. They're player props. 21.5 fantasy score for Al Horford, 5 assists for Marcus Smart. Brook Lopez over. Now I have his first half points, rebounds, and assists. Mainly this is because I'm playing the angle here of Giannis possibly sitting this game out. And if he is to sit this game out, we already know how much better Brook Lopez's numbers are when Giannis is out, and he tends to step up quite a bit. And we can also look at not just his first half points, rebounds, and assists, but we can also look at his first half fantasy score. In fact, I think his first half fantasy score is also very much in play here due to the high upside he has with his blocks. But really for this one, I took the lower of the two because 11.5 is a big drop from 15.5. We can definitely see Brook Lopez put up 12 points in the first half without Giannis on the floor. So that's the logic behind that one. Now the Najee Marshall prop here, this is interesting. He has actually hit this prop, I think, in 10 straight games. Let me go back to full game here and pull up Najee Marshall. He's hit this in definitely 5 straight games. And if we go to props.cash, we can see that he's hit this game in 10 straight games. Or excuse me, he's hit this prop in 10 straight games. 11.5 points, rebounds, and assists for Najee Marshall versus Denver. 2 games versus Denver. 1-1 on the season. In those 2 games, minutes were good. What was the difference? Very limited shot attempts here and rebounds. Yeah, just didn't dish out enough assists to keep up. So This one just stands out to me. Definitely not a must play by any means. I don't think anything on a 2-game slate is a must play, but this one stood out to me. We talked about Brook Lopez, 11.5 points, rebounds, and assists. We also talked about his fantasy score, but let's pull up Brook Lopez real quick and talk about his first half potential. Now, I want to do something a little different here, and I want to take out Giannis because this play honestly is very interesting to me, especially if Giannis is out of the lineup. Let's pull up his PRA. Has hit his first half PRA without Giannis on the floor, 11.5. Yep, he's gone over 11.5 in 7 out of 10 games without Giannis on the floor. That's why I'm interested in this prop. If you were interested in his fantasy points, then we got to factor in his blocks and steals. So over those games without Giannis on the floor, he's giving you 2 blocks and steals. So it was going to give you 12 PRA. So let's look at this real quick. From a fantasy point perspective, let's look at this. 9 points over his last 10 games. That's the low end. 3 rebounds. That's 3.6. That's 12.6. Assist. 1 assist. So that's 14.1. And then we saw his steals and blocks. 14.1, 17.1. We can round this up to 2. 20.1. And then turnovers. 0 turnovers. 20.1 fantasy points over his last 10 games without Giannis on the floor, pulling up his first half fantasy, and that's currently 15.5. So we might actually like the first half fantasy score over the first half PRA. All right, let's talk about Al Horford and Marcus Smart. All right, another fantasy score prop to take a look at here. The 21.5 line for Al Horford. Over his last 10 games, he's on a little bit of a slump right now. But one thing to factor in is the Celtics could possibly be without both Rob Williams and Grant Williams. So what does the game log look like? What do the game logs look like without those 2 dudes in the lineup? So in terms of points, Al Horford has hit 12 and 9 in those 2 games. Rebounds are always down for him. He's just not the aggressive rebounder he once was. But 2 and 4. If Giannis doesn't play in this game, there's one less big in the paint to scoop up boards. So I expect those numbers to be a bit better. And then assist, he's good for 3, in those 2 games. And then blocks and steals, 1 and 3. So averaging 2 in those 2 games without Rob Williams and Grant Williams. Also in those 2 games, he put up huge minutes. So if you are getting Al Horford on the floor for 30 plus minutes versus the Milwaukee Bucks team, and if Giannis possibly sits out, there's high upside there. I think this is one that you can consider over Al Horford, 21.5 fantasy score. And then the last pick will be Marcus Smart, 5 assists. This line has stayed pretty consistent over the last handful of games. I feel like you can find Marcus Smart assist prop in around that 4.5 to 5 range. Over on props.cash, it sets a 5.5. Over his last 30 games, Marcus Smart has hit 5 or more assists in 54% of his games. Over his last 10, he's pushed 4 times, gone over 3. So 7 out of 10 games he's pushed or gone over. Specifically versus Milwaukee, back on Christmas Day, he had 8 assists. Historically in his careers, played Milwaukee very well, averaging roughly 7 assists. If Jaylen Brown and Tatum are on point today and shots are falling for those guys, Marcus Smart's going to have his fingerprints all over this game. So I think 5 assists is just like a standard game for a point guard. I think he can get that for you today. So those are 4 picks that I like on the board. As of now, again, we're awaiting some injury news for the Nuggets and possibly for the Milwaukee Bucks. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for today's 2-game NBA slate player prop video over on Prizepicks. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel, talking some Prizepicks player props with me. Do me a favor, leave a comment below letting me know if you have a favorite prop on the board as of now. Also, what do you think about these potential plays over on Prizepicks? We talked about Al Horford, Marcus Smart, Najee Marshall, and Brook Lopez. Do you like them, love them, hate them, or do you want to leave them alone? And as always, thank you all so much for all the support, the likes, the subs, and all the comments, and helping this channel get a bit bigger every single day. And until tomorrow's early look and research video and MLB player prop videos, Chavez is